Hi, second graders. It's Miss Conrad here, and I am here to talk to you today about plants in the Redwood National Forest. So, I know that last week you talked about the Grand Canyon National Forest, and this week you're talking about the Redwood National Forest. And I know you looked at plants in Arizona, and so we're going to take a look at the plants in California. So this is just two pictures side by side of the Redwood National Forest. And I want you to spend a minute looking at the plants. Okay. These are also some of the other plants you can find in the Redwood National Forest. So my question for you today is, do the plants in the Redwood National Park look like the plants in the Grand Canyon National Park? So here they are side by side. We have got the Redwood Forest, which is in California, and it is kind of close to the coast and it gets lots and lots of rain. And then we have the Grand Canyon National Forest or National Park, which is in Arizona, which is hot and dry. And they look very different. The plants look very different. The redwood forest is lush and green and lots of plants and thick and tall. And then Arizona, the Grand Canyon Park looks very kind of dry and rocky and just not a whole lot of plants, right? They're not very tall and not very thick. So, why do plants look different? Why do they have different physical characteristics? Is what we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to start with the fact that all plants have basic needs. They have basic things that they need to survive. So, one is they need sunlight. Okay, they need air or carbon dioxide. They need nutrients or food, and they get that from the soil. They need water and they need space. They need room to grow. So, parts of a plant. The parts of a plant are designed to help plants meet their needs. Okay, they have these parts specifically to help them meet their needs. So, for example, we have roots. Okay, roots go underground and they absorb water and nutrients from the soil. Okay, so we just learned that plants need water and nutrients to survive. Well, their roots are what they use to meet those needs. Okay, they have stems. Stems support the plant, so they hold it up so it doesn't kind of fall over and lean, but it also carries the nutrients and water from the roots to the leaves. Then we have the leaves, which are very important because this is where plants make their food. This is where the plants take the sunlight and the carbon dioxide, and they take the water and nutrients that the roots send up, and they make their own food. So that's very important for them to meet their needs. And then they have flowers. Flowers make seeds and are what plants use to reproduce, to make more of themselves, right? All living things want to reproduce and make more of themselves so they don't go extinct. So that goes for plants as well, and that's what seeds are for. So let's compare two specific plants. Let's look at the saguaro cactus from Arizona that is in the Grand Canyon area, and then let's compare that to a redwood tree in California in the Redwood National Forest. So, oops, let's go back up real quick. So here they are kind of side by side. So let's first start talking about their stems. They both have stems. They just look very different. Okay, the cactus has a very thick stem, and that is because it stores water in it. As much water as it can collect, it stores so they can use it over a long period of time. And it also has a thick, waxy covering to help keep water inside of it. It doesn't want any water to escape. And then we have our redwood trees that have trunks. So trees have stems, they're just called trunks, right? And look how tall they are. And the reason they are able to get so tall is because there's so much water in this area. And these trees are hundreds of years old. They can live for a very long time. Let's look at their leaves. So a cactus does have leaves, but it's a special type of leaf called a spine. Okay, and that's because animals in the desert want to get to the water that's inside of a cactus. So these spines protect it from getting eaten by animals. Okay, and then you can see just the leaf of a redwood tree. And again, this is just where it takes in sun and carbon dioxide and makes its food. They both have flowers, okay, because they both need to create seeds and reproduce. The redwood trees actually make pine cones. So that's how they distribute their seeds. So here they both have flowers. And then I think their roots are really, really cool, especially for the cactus. So the cactus have these really long root systems that stay close to the surface of the ground because when the water falls, they want to be right there to collect any water. So they stretch out really, really far, but they stay close to the surface so that they can soak up the water. And look, here's a couple of other trees that have their roots that go straight down and they try to collect water in the bottom. But in the desert, you don't necessarily always have a water table um, below ground. So that's why they have these root systems like this. And then the root systems of a redwood tree, I mean, that has to be able to help anchor these giant trees into the ground. So they just have these massive root systems, right? Because they have to suck up so much water and send it so far up this long trunk and have to hold this giant tree in place. So that's what their roots look like. So we talked about the parts of a plant, how those parts of a plant help it meet its needs. And then we compared how a cactus and a redwood tree look so different because they live in two different environments, but they both have the same parts that help it meet its needs. They just look different because one lives in a very dry environment and one lives in a very wet environment. So, as you're learning about different parks around the United States and you're learning about the plants, I want you to think about what's the environment, how much water, how much heat, where is it located, and then think about what the plants look like. Why do they look that way? And how do its parts help it meet its needs? Do they have all the same parts? You can even go in your backyard and see if you can find different plants and identify the roots, stem, leaves, and flowers and compare what they look like. All right, boys and girls, thank you and have a wonderful day.